Hi everybody, Tim here. Um, like most of the music world, I'm talking today about what happened this past Friday, January 10th, 2020, with the news of the death of Neil Peart on Tuesday the 7th. Um, this was a big loss. This was not great. That was a bad day for me. I remember that night I got my kids together and they could see that I was upset about something. I told them that, the drummer for Rush had passed away, and my daughter knows that Rush is one of my favorite bands, so she was sorry to hear that for me, but I don't think she really quite got how big a deal it was. So we went home that night and I pulled out the Time Stand Still documentary, and we watched that about the last days of the R40 tour, which fortunately I did get to go see them on that tour. I didn't get to see a lot of Rush shows over the years. I think I saw them maybe 6 or 7 times throughout the 80s and 90s. And the first tour I got to go see them on was which one was it? It was Roll the Bones. And then I saw him again on Presto. And I saw him on Counterparts. And then I don't think I got to see him again for a while. Saw the Time Machine tour. There was something else I'm forgetting in there. But the last time I got to see them was on the R40 tour in Columbus, Ohio. I don't think we really knew then at that point in the tour that this was for sure the farewell tour. They were still advertising it as this is probably going to be the last big major tour that Rush does. But there was still some rumor and some talk about possibly doing something else down the road, maybe just not on as large a scale, maybe something like a short Vegas residency or something, although I don't think Rush would have ever done something quite like a Vegas residency. That's for more mainstream bands, and Rush was never one of those guys. But yeah, I don't think we fully knew that it was going to be the last, but we thought, well, if this is going to be the last, we need to get out there and see it. I remember posting pictures on Facebook that night from the show, counting down the number of dryers that Geddy had gotten up to on stage. He's up to 3 dryers now. Having a lot of fun with that. And other friends throughout the arena were all posting their pictures and their comments from out the show as well. And I remember one of my non-Rush fan friends on Facebook getting on there and saying, Jesus, is anybody not at the Rush concert tonight? And we were like, no, we're all here. All the cool people are here tonight. Rush, for me, was a really important band. They're the band that really got me into prog rock. My favorite band is always going to be Van Halen. That's just, anytime I have a list of my favorites, anything, Van Halen's going to be number one. And then we can argue about who rates where on the rest of the list, but that's where it usually is for me. But Rush, always right there in a solid running, right at the cusp of that top tier spot for me. So they were really an important band. They were a unique band just in the fact that of the people in the band, all 3 of them were guys that were considered to be pretty much the top of their game. These were always, if you asked, who are the top 10 guitarists? Alex Lifeson's going to be very high on that list. Who's the best bass player? Geddy Lee's going to be very high on that list. Drums. Anybody who doesn't put Neil Peart at number 1 on a rock drummer's list, I don't think you have functioning ears. I really don't. You got to go back and do some more listening because you're wrong. You're just wrong. And no other bands that I can think of, even my boys Van Halen, you have Eddie and you have Alex, who are great on their respective instruments, but Sammy Hagar is a great singer. David Lee Roth is a great showman. But, Michael Anthony, I love Michael Anthony. I think Michael Anthony is a great bass player. Michael Anthony's not really on anybody's top 10 list. So sorry, Mikey. But yeah, Rush was a band that everybody was the top of their game. So, I mean, you just had that incredible caliber of musician every day on every record with them. So they were just always the quintessential, musicians band. I heard somebody else comment about Neil recently that whoever your favorite drummer is, Neil Peart was his favorite drummer. So think about that. This is a guy who was already the top of the pack, the best of the best, and he just decided one day, you know what, I think I can be better, but to do that, I'm going to have to completely relearn everything from scratch. And can you imagine doing that with any other thing that you do in your life? Just starting over completely from ground zero, like, I don't know anything and let's build it back up. And he came out an even better drummer. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling on here because this is still kind of shocking to me. I don't know that I've fully accepted it yet that he's gone, other than reading all the news stories say, yep, he's gone. But I don't know that it's completely sunk in yet. I mean, I had the definite big bout of emotion on Friday when we all learned the news. But yeah, I don't know if I'm completely done processing that yet. And then finally, 2015, he called it quits and said, look, I'm done. My body's had it. This touring lifestyle is breaking him apart. It's pretty well documented in the movie Time Stands Still that, it was really hurting those last few shows to even get through them, but he did it like a complete champion. He pulled it all together, and I don't think anybody ever noticed that he missed a beat, which I don't think he did miss a beat. It was amazing to watch them on that last show. I'm really disappointed, greatly disappointed that me and the kids are never going to get to sit together at a Rush concert. That's something I was really looking forward to. My kids are, my son's in elementary school right now, and my daughter's in middle school. And so they're starting to get to that age where I don't really feel too bad about asking them if they want to go see a concert with me. I mean, we went and seen Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and they had a lot of fun with that. So I think they're about finally to an age where they can start really appreciating some good bands. So I would like to go and see some of the acts that I've always respected and looked up to. But Rush is not going to be on that list now, sadly, and that's kind of tragic. But I wore my last Rush shirt that I got from the Time Machine tour back in 2010. That was an awesome show too. My friend in Columbus, Mike, managed to score box seat tickets. The reserved, the really nice, super luxury box seats. Somebody he knew, I think, or somebody his brother knew, their company got season tickets to all of the stuff at the arena, and nobody had claimed the Rush tickets. And there were like 5 or 6 of them. So there was 4 of them. So his brother and his girlfriend took the 2, and they asked Mike if he wanted to go. And Mike was like, who do I know that's a Rush fan? Tim. I got to get a hold of Tim. So I went out, and man, that was an awesome show too. Just fantastic. Those guys live, I mean, you had to see Rush live. Listening to the albums is great. Watching the live clips on YouTube and on Blu-ray is great. Live was just a whole different level. Just off the charts. You couldn't believe how good they were. I'm really going to miss them. I do want to send my condolences out to Neil's family and to Getty and Alex and to the whole Rush family and to everyone else that is feeling the same way I am, which is this profound sense of loss at one of our heroes. It's weird sometimes to think about feeling this sense of loss for somebody that you never even actually met. But that's kind of how celebrity works in a way. You end up affecting people that you will never see in your lifetime. And Rush was one of those bands that the music was always there for me. A lot of those times in my life when important things were happening, Rush was the music that was being played at the same time. And so it kind of becomes ingrained with you. The moments and the music kind of become intertwined, and they become one and the same. You can't separate them. The music becomes the memory, and that kind of leads to a sense of familiarity among listeners and leads you to feel like you have a deeper connection to the band that recorded it, even though from their perspective you are just a stranger that just walked up to them out of the blue. I can totally understand Neil's line in Limelight, "I can't pretend a stranger is a long-awaited friend," which is always, I think, put a lot of people off to a lot of musicians when they finally meet their musical heroes, and the hero's not just as excited to meet them as you are to meet them. It's, okay, hi, stranger, and, well, gosh, he was kind of a jerk to me. Well, no, he wasn't. He just doesn't know you. You feel like you know him because that music has been so important in your life for so long. You feel like you already know them, but you don't. You heard a recording. I don't mean to downplay what people are feeling about this, because I feel it too. I feel that sense of loss. I guess I'm just trying to put it in some sort of a realistic perspective. Anyway, that I think is enough from me for today. Goodbye, Neil. Your music is going to live on for ever and ever. As long as recordings can be transferred to some other form of media, whatever we wind up with in the future, Rush is going to be there.